Towson Baltimore Bank, where they have a relentless commitment to being the best at every single thing they do. Also brought to you by the Baltimore Brigade. I'm sporting my Brigade hat. Don't forget, on the 28th, that is this Saturday, 3 p.m., they'll be taking on the Albany Empire. 2 games this week. They're back after it next Friday night on the 4th against Ron Jaworski's Philadelphia Soul. Come down and see Randy Hippert throw the ball around. It is Arena Football League action. Affordable, inexpensive, easy to get to, and, of course, at the Royal Farms Arena. Also brought to you by our friends at Cole Roofing. They sponsor our Be More Positive community and charity series that we do on Thursday mornings here, spotlighting good stuff. If you want to have your charity spotlighted, toss me an email, nasty@WNST.net. We got a great sponsor down in Pasadena where you can go hit the little white dimple ball. The weather is breaking, and Robert Canady, who handles all things interior college basketball and the local college basketball scene. We had a lot of fun down at UMBC in recent weeks, but it's now on to the links from the hardwoods. He is buckets and birds. It is the time of the year for birds, maybe some eagles as well. We welcome Robert Canady on from Compass Point Golf down in Pasadena, where I guess the greens are bikini wax, correct? We're ready for these greens to be used and abused amongst good weather. Been a long winter here, Robert.
It has. It's been a long time coming, and we get a tease now and then with 70-degree day, which is usually followed by 3 days of 50 degrees and windy rain. So it looks like we're in for a stretch of the weather might turn for the good and for the permanent. So we're looking forward to that. Definitely coming up with the next few days and leading into the weekend, and everything should good weather to get out on the golf course.
You ever have any fun playing golf in the rain? I just ask you that?
Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I was down in Pinehurst on our trip down there, and that's the type of trip where if it rains, you're still playing because you paid for it and you planned it in advance.
It's like Tommy Conwell once sang, "Ain't no tomorrow, baby. There's just right now."
Right. So
you're on Pebble Beach and it's raining. You're playing.
Absolutely, and we played in the rain one of the rounds there, and I wouldn't say it was fun, but it wasn't as miserable because, as it might be back home because you're still away and you're playing courses you don't play and special place and all that. So, we made the best of it and enjoyed the beverages and everything afterwards. So, it was all good.
Well, there's a lot of people playing golf right now because the weather is better and the courses like yours down at Compass Point are open. But from a PGA standpoint, it kind of calms down a little bit after the Masters, but now we're about to ramp up as we get into May, where every weekend, everywhere you look, there's going to be golf being played. It is an interesting story for golf because there is no one player, right? That's what is probably making it compelling, and especially with Tiger Woods back on the scene. Mickelson's played well so far this year. Some of the veteran guys that aren't quite ready to be put out to pasture. But this is a story about young men now in their 20s trying to dominate, but much like was proven before Tiger and since, there's not one player. There's a whole roster of players every week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked a few times on that, that the game is in a really good spot with all these young players and everything. Dustin Johnson being world number 1 now for over a year, and Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and everything. He's had his share at number 1. So, and then you throw in the mix of Tiger coming back and saying not so fast. That he showed over the last couple events that he's played in the last 2 months that he's still got some good golf left in him. And you're right, as far as the Masters go, there's the kind of the post-Masters doldrums that happens every year. There's a couple events that immediately follow it. They don't get the big fields because guys are taking some time off, and they're not star-studded fields, so you kind of muddle through those. But once you get to this week and the first part of May, then everyone gets back in their rhythm, starting to play every week, every couple of weeks, and heading into a big tournament. The Players' Championship will be coming up in a couple of weeks. Then you have the Memorial with Jack Nicklaus's course, and then the U.S. Open before it'll be here in June. So it's ready to kick off full force right now.
He is Robert Canady. He is Buckets and Birds out on Twitter doing all the golf stuff. And, you see a lot of equipment. You have a lot to do with the game. You're literally out on a golf course most of your life, especially over the next 6-7 months before we get you back onto the hardwoods and into UMBC and Coppin and Morgan and Towson and all the local colleges you do. For this year, any sort of theme for anybody out there equipment-wise or things you've seen that, is going to sort of wow people this spring?
Yeah, there's, every company, comes out. I was at the PGA show back in January where all the companies kind of have their big launch for the year of the new equipment and everything they're coming out with. And of course, everyone, comes out with new and improved, which makes you think, what were we playing before? Old and lousy? So it's, but, a couple of big things that are out there this year. TaylorMade has their new twist face technology, which everyone that's watched any golf has seen. The commercials with Jason Day and Dustin Johnson. And, of course, Dustin Johnson did it pretty well early in the year with, winning in Hawaii and driving a 400-yard green, so that immediately had people asking about it and coming into the shop and asking about it. And so that's a big one out there. The whole Callaway Rogue lineup with the jailbreak technology, they've expanded that this year from just the drivers last year in the Epic. This year with their new model, the Rogue, they have this jailbreak technology which makes the ball go faster and farther throughout the fairway woods and the hybrids as well. So those have been two of the big things.
You feel bionic when you hit one of those? I mean, I know when I hit a golf ball with the right size club, I feel like I'm ready for the tour. Everybody likes to feel that ping in that shot, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And we earlier this week we had Cobra out here, and they were doing a demo day on our range where everyone got the chance to come out and hit the new F8 club that Cobra has, which is doing really well, and that's being played by Ricky Fowler and a few others there on tour. And they had their TrackMan lined up, which shows you, if you watch on TV, you see the tracer with the numbers showing these guys hitting at 320 yards. And so everyone got to see how far they're hitting it and realized they're still about 100 yards behind most of the professionals.
Science can either make you feel really good or bad depending on how you look at it, right?
Yeah, I call it, the TrackMan is the Truth Digest. We all get on the course and we think we're hitting at a certain distance, but you put this technology behind it and you see it and you realize we're not quite as strong and long as we think we are.
Or you just realize the wind's working against you that day, right?
Well, yeah, you blame it, exactly. You blame it against the wind, or the club is not as good as the manufacturer makes it out to be, because it's never the player. It's never us.
He is Robert Canady. He's Buckets and Birds. He's doing the golf thing down at Compass Point. You got a bunch of stuff going on down at Compass Point. Let's talk about that. We appreciate the sponsorship and the visits as well, and keeping us in the know as to all things golf. By the way, I Googled it out. The Shinnecock in June, and then Carnoustie in July, correct?
Absolutely. Those will be two good ones. And they both kind of have a good, recent history behind them. Shinnecock had the U.S. Open last there in 2006, I believe it was, and the USGA back then was really trying to, trick things up. There's no other way to put it. They didn't have any rain leading into the tournament, so they didn't water the greens. So that you mentioned earlier about bikini wax. Those things were bikini waxed and concrete, and they actually got in the position where one of the greens got so bad, the USGA was out there watering it between groups coming through. Because players were hitting wedges in there that wouldn't hold the green, and so there was a lot of criticism. And then Carnoustie for the British Open, or the Open Championship, is they call it.
It doesn't say British anywhere on the web. It only says the Open. Correct.
Exactly.
Don't want to offend those people over there.
Jean Van de Velde had his meltdown back in, I think it was like 1999 during the British Open there, and where he had a 3-shot lead going in the last hole and ended up with a 7, hitting it into just about every imaginable hazard there was. So it's typically known as one of the toughest courses on the British Open Rota. So that's something to look forward to. So yeah, two good championships coming up, and some good golf before that with the players down at TPC Sawgrass. In mid-May will be probably the next big one to look toward.
That's my claim to fame, right? Like, I hit a tee shot on 17 there and got it up onto the green and avoided the water, put it about 10 feet from the cup. You know that story?
Absolutely. Well, you did better than most that come through there.
Witnessed by Ray Bachman and Casey Willett. It is an absolute true story that we did that during the Super Bowl at Jacksonville down there about 12 years ago. So once awesome. I hit that shot, that was it, man.
You kind of do the drop mic, right? Drop the club and walked off the green.
That's what that's all I needed to do. It's, I don't need to go to Pebble Beach. I don't need to play Augusta, anything like that. I hit a 17 at TPC Sawgrass up onto the green. When I brag about that, people know that I actually did it, and then that I'm done. I'm done as an athlete. I gave that up in my 30s.
Well, yep. So you always have that. No one can ever take that away from you.
Before my 40th birthday, I did that. Robert Canady is here. He's Buckets and Birds out on Twitter, and of course down at Compass Point. The only Open that matters is the 2018 Craft Beer Open. That is held. And I appreciate you doing this between the Derby and the Preakness. So it's the 12th of May. You can learn more at Compass Point Golf. Don't forget the silent E on the CompassPointGolf.com. Tell me about the Craft Beer Open. This is one of your favorites, and it probably includes the best weather of the year because second weekend of May, it's probably going to be nice out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of our most favorite events we do all year by our players. I mean, we usually do one in the fall and one in the spring, and as soon as the first one's over, they're saying, when can I sign up for the fall one, or when I can sign up for the spring one, and so it's definitely one that'll fill up. So anyone that if they've done it before, they know what a good time it is. They want to get out here and get signed up as soon as possible, like you mentioned on the website. Middle of May is perfect weather. And like you said, we kind of have a good weekend. It's before the following weekend tends to be busy with a lot of events going on with the Preakness and air shows and everything going on in Annapolis. So it's a great weekend to do it. And weather definitely should be good by then. Our course should be looking nice and green. So we're looking forward to that. All the local craft brewery companies will be out there, serving some of their favorites, and it's a great time every year to play some golf and get some craft beer. So and some food to go along with it.
$85, man.
As well.
It's right online, and I tell you, it includes beer. So how can you go wrong? 9:00, they're going to tee it off down at Compass Point Golf, the Craft Beer Open. It's got beer right in the title. Go to CompassPointGolf.com to learn more about what they do. And Robert Canady will be keeping us in the know for all things golf as we get near Shinnecock and Carnoustie and all that stuff, and we ramp up the golf season around here at CompassPointGolf.com. Hey, man, anything basketball you want to say? I mean, we talk so much about Ryan Odom getting a job and other people getting a job. It was kind of quiet, college basketball job thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, nothing major. There was a few of the big guys left. As far as I think Chris Mack went down to Louisville from Xavier and a couple other moves. Locally, the big news was Ryan Odom getting the extension, which they were fearful that he might have everyone come knocking at his door, and I'm sure he did. So he's there, and they'll have to rebuild. And I'll probably get out and see them during the summer, see some of their summer practices, and see what they're going to look like next year. Towson, right now there's nothing definite, but the big news there, I mean, it's been public. It's nothing. If anyone that's followed it on Twitter, their leading scorer from last year, Zane Martin, has asked for his release from the school. So, it could be a case where he's looking to go to, a bigger school, or I think there's also been mentioned that he's going to put his name in the NBA draft lottery and not hire an agent. Which,
there's a lot of that going on right now, right? Even in Maryland.
So much of that this year. I mean, it's just, I won't say ridiculous, but it's just, it's like,
they do realize only 60 kids get picked, right?
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Someone hasn't done the math for these guys to let them know, that there's only so many openings each year that get picked, and a lot of those don't even make the team. And then,
you surround yourself with you demand. All of a sudden, guess what? You demand.
Absolutely. Right. So that's a shame to see, because he could have come back as a junior and probably would have been leading candidate for CAA Player of the Year, first team definitely, and a couple other players there on Towson that mentioned that they may be seeking transfers as well. So I'll have more on that during the summer. I'll get out and talk to Pat Scarry and see what's going on there. But so those are the two big things locally.
All right, he is Robert Canady. He is Buckets and Birds on Twitter as well as at Compass Point Golf. Don't forget the silent E on the Compass Point. The Craft Beer Open is May 12th. Hey, take care of yourself, man. We will check in again soon here as we hopefully get some better weather for all sorts of indoor and outdoor activities around here getting into May.
Sounds good, Nestor. Thanks a lot.
NFL Draft Weekend is upon us. We've got golf. You can learn more out at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. Luke's got you covered at the ballpark, 2 Owings Mills, and, of course, the Caps moving into the Stanley Cup second round against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ed Frankovic and I will be all over things Rock the Red. You can listen to anything you miss in the BuyAToyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. You can also find me anytime, nasty at WNST.net with that charity stuff. We're doing these Thursday Be More Positive Community and Charity Series, all brought to you by Howard Bank and Cole Roofing. If you want to get your charity spotlighted and have their story told here, which is what we do. We talk to people and tell stories around here, all true, of course. We try to make them true. They're true as far as I know them. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, Baltimore sports fans, I guess. Twitter is there 24 hours a day. Also, another great way to stay up with us, what we do on the web. Our morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. And don't forget the morning entries each and every day for Laurel, and then it'll be Pimlico in a couple of weeks in the morning newspaper at 7 a.m. delivered to your email inbox, as well as on the front of WNST.net. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Jockey Club, where they just ran the Tessio. My wife and I are getting ready to go down to the Kentucky Derby proceedings at Laurel next Saturday, so we're looking forward to the beginning of the Triple Crown. And, of course, hi-ho, Pimlico. May 19th, it is the running of the Preakness Stakes. We talked to Stan Salter about that earlier. Justify, the favorite in the Derby next week. We'll hopefully catch up with Bob Baffert around here during the month of May as well. Don't forget any breaking news during the draft, before, during, after, the Orioles, the Norfolk Shuttle, all of it comes to you first on the WNST text service. Whenever they decide to trade Manny Machado, you'll get it first. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis will be here on Thursday, driving you home, getting you ready for the weekend. It is the SSV on WNST. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.